Hello again, and welcome to another talk through from me, the history tutor. And this time I'm talking you through the Edexcel iGCSE topic of superpower relations, and that's the Cold War topic. In this video, we're going to talk through the impact of the arms race. So what it was, what the key events were, and its key impacts on the Cold War, of course. So once you've revised your knowledge, do take a look at my playlist and see if you can practice some skills with a tutoring video as well. Maybe you'll be interested in my revision guide also. Right, let's go and revise all about the arms race. So the arms race starts, of course, at the end of the Second World War, with the Americans developing their own atomic bomb. So after the successful Manhattan Project had invented an atomic bomb, it was then used in anger, firstly in Hiroshima and then next Nagasaki, to end the war in August 1945. This, of course, gets a reaction from Stalin, who would like an atomic bomb of his own. He had spies in the Manhattan Project and knew the Americans developing a bomb, but was still a little bit surprised how quickly they had achieved this goal, and he then put lots of finances and urgency into making their own atomic bomb to catch up with the Americans. So by the 29th of August 1949, a shocked Truman heard that the Russians had tested their own atomic bomb. Truman reacted by instructing his scientists to make a H-bomb as rapidly as possible. This meant the arms race had begun. However, in 1950, Britain becomes the second country of NATO to be a nuclear power, so now there are two NATO nuclear powers against the communist Russians. In November 1952, the USA developed their first hydrogen bomb. This is far more powerful than the atomic bomb used at Hiroshima. But the gap is closing. It only takes Russia a year to catch up with a H-bomb, and they detonate their first H-bomb in 1953. Russia has been closing the gap on the Americans. In 1955, we get the doctrine of massive retaliation as an idea from the Americans. This begins the idea of mutually assured destruction, or MAD, that both sides will potentially destroy each other in a nuclear conflict by bombarding each other with bombs or missiles. To add to this, by 1957, the Russians launched their first ICBM, intercontinental ballistic missile, a rocket capable of taking a nuclear warhead thousands of miles across continents to attack their enemy. In response, America developed its first ICBM in 1958. It seems like the Americans have fallen behind in some of the technology. However, the Americans have been developing Polaris submarines. By 1959, they launched their first Polaris submarines. This is a submarine that carries nuclear warheads and, of course, is a strategic advantage compared to an ICBM. It could be secretly off your coastline and then fire a nuclear attack at you from short range. You'd have very limited chance to react. Whereas an ICBM could be seen and maybe countermeasures could be put in place. October 1961, the Russians detonated Tsar Bomba. This was the largest ever nuclear explosion, equivalent to 50 million tons of TNT. Again, it seemed like the Russians were moving ahead in the arms race. October 1962, got the Cuban Missile Crisis. It seemed like the world almost went to war with the 13 days of tension around the Cuban Missile Crisis. Impact of this is people start to fear nuclear war and really worry about MAD. So what are the impacts of the arms race on the Cold War? So we have social impacts firstly. People began to accept the inevitability of a nuclear attack. In America, school pupils did nuclear bomb drills. The catchphrase duck and cover became very common in school drills and also in maybe TV adverts. TV and cinema and literature became obsessed by nuclear bombs and some radiation and nuclear technology. So we get comics like Radioactive Man. We get films like Dr. Strangelove making a comedy out of nuclear war. And finally, protest groups like C&D developed across NATO. In 1950s Britain, they led to large campaigns, in particular the March to Aldermaston to protest about nuclear weapons. Politically, there was lots of impacts as well. So a policy of brinkmanship had developed. Leaders could threaten their opponents with nuclear weapons to try and gain what they wanted. This led to mass fear of nuclear conflict, of course. The Cuban Missile Crisis, events in Berlin like Checkpoint Charlie, all heightened the fear of nuclear war through brinkmanship. Also, nuclear weapons like space exploration was very expensive, and this put an enormous strain on both economies. This became a major cause of détente later on, that the Cold War thawed and tension reduced. The Russians felt they were strategically losing the arms race, as the USA had better placed missiles in Europe. For instance, they had NATO countries with missiles like Turkey very close to Russia. This led to the Cuban Missile Crisis, where the Russians wanted to place better strategic missiles. USA for much time also thought they were losing the Cold War in the arms race. They thought there was a missile gap with the Russians. That's shown through some of the events, of course, where the Russians were catching up and even developing better technology like ICBMs, and early on that they're winning the space race. So the governments of Eisenhower and Kennedy had to be tough on communism because the belief was they were losing the arms race. And fear of war and the brinkmanship policy eventually led to détente. They agreed to reduce their nuclear arsenals, spend less, have test bans and SALT treaties to try and reduce the problems of nuclear weapons. Okay, I hope you found that useful and you know lots more than you knew before and really recapture your knowledge. And if you did find it useful and you're ready to move on, then go to my playlist and find a tutoring video to practice some of your skills now, or take a look at my revision guide. Right, hope to see you again soon. Bye bye for now.